At 9 kicks off with awesome interiors. Jennifer shows you how to spice things up with a salsa style. At 9:30, Design at 9 continues with this small space. See how one man creates his own multifunctional furniture. At 10, it's the HGTV International Hours, starting with Homefront. Get some creative solutions to storage problems. And at 10:30, it's Homes by Design. Visit 2 different homes that are unique for their natural elegance. It's all tonight on HGTV.
You're watching HGTV Daytime, right here on Home and Garden Television.
Hi, I'm Ron Hazelton, the house doctor. Welcome once again to the House Doctor, the show that helps you fix up your home or apartment. Now, in today's program, I'm going to show you a really easy way to remove stubborn wallpaper. And I'll give you some woodworking tips and techniques that you're going to find very useful. But first, when a viewer wanted help in installing wall-to-wall mirrored closet doors, well, we paid him a house call. Well, we're here with Todd. Hey, Todd, thanks for joining us on the show.
Thank you.
And behind us here, we've got 3 doors. Door number 1, door number 2, and door number 3. Now, which one are you going to choose? All 3 of them, actually, because you've got to open every one of these. He's got 3 closets on one wall right here. Every time he wants to get inside, he's got to open one of these doors. So they're all pretty much the same size. I guess there's that one. This one here actually has got sort of a dressing table inside. And then there's another one over here. This way. So what do you have in mind here? This kind of makes life kind of a bit complicated, doesn't it?
Yeah, we wanted to knock out this wall and just turn it into one giant closet. Okay. And put in
the sliding doors?
Sliding doors with probably a trim to match the brass bed, so it gives a little bit more. So mirror on the face, and then metal trim to match this. Yeah, to give it a little more open air looking.
This room is going to be a mess for a couple of days. We're going to have to do a lot of demolition work here. Is that you up for that?
Oh, sure.
Okay, let's go. The first step in today's project is to demolish, I like that term, don't you? Demolish or remove the existing wall here. We'll start by taking off the door casings, and the best tool to use for this is a flat pry bar, which we can tap behind the casing using a hammer. To make sure the sheetrock comes away cleanly in the corners, especially up here at the ceiling, we're going to use a utility knife to cut through the tape. Well, as you can see, we've gotten all that sheetrock off. Now it's time to start disassembling the framing. I don't want to get up with a big, heavy hammer and start knocking this apart. I could damage some of the other walls. Instead, we're going to take this apart somewhat surgically using this tool right here. This is a reciprocating saw, and I fitted this with a special blade which cuts both through wood and nails. So what we'll be doing is cutting at the joints here, right through the nails that hold it together, taking out this lumber, and the added bonus here will be that we can reuse some of this lumber. Well, we finished the demolition or destructive part of our project here. Now it's time to start the constructive part of it. And that means creating an opening right here that's the proper size to receive the new doors, the sliding glass doors that Todd's gone and purchased. Now, I know that those doors are, for example, 80 1/2 inches high. That's the height of the opening they have to go into. The problem is we've got a ceiling up here that's 8 feet high, and we need an opening that's only 80 1/2 inches high. So we're going to have to build a header up here, which will effectively bring the opening level down almost a foot. Now we're going to make our header up out of 3 12-foot long 2x4s and some short lengths of 2x4 here. These are called cripple studs. You'll see how these work in just a second. So let's first of all mark off the location. We want one of those cripple studs every 16 inches. So we'll take that mark right off the tape here. Now to make sure that we place those cripple studs properly, I'm going to carry a line across both the top and bottom 2x4 here with a combination square. And then we're going to place an X on the side of the line where we want that stud to go. Now we're putting in these short or cripple studs, and you can see how easy it is to line these up right now. Those are the 2 marks that we made. They're separated by several inches of space now. There's the X. That's the side of the line that we're going to be putting the stud on. Okay, Todd, if you can hold it in position. Now, I could just as easily put this together with nails, but I'm reusing some of that old lumber. It's very hard, very dry. So instead, these 3-inch screws here, I think, are going to make the job go a little bit faster. This header doesn't have to support any weight from above. The ceiling is self-supporting at this point, but it does have to support its own weight. I don't want it to sag. That would cause the doors to operate improperly. So we're going to give it some added strength by doubling up this 2x4 here on the bottom and screwing these two together. Our header will give us the correct height for the opening, and we'll be putting this up in just a second. But before we do that, we've also got to make our opening the correct width. Now, the room in this case is about 12 feet wide. The doors are only going to be 10 feet wide. That is the set of doors. So we're going to have to bring this wall in about a foot on each side. And to do that, we'll start by putting this base plate down here, which has been cut to the right length. Well, this is the moment of truth. We're going to install our header now. Okay, all the way up against the ceiling there. Okay, good, Todd. You got it?
Yeah.
You got to hold it? I'm going to let go. All right. Now, this is a jack stud. It's a short stud that we're going to put underneath here. Okay, going to come back over here a little bit. There we go. And this is going to actually take all the weight of this header. I've cut this so it's a nice snug fit. Make sure everything is aligned. Here we go. I'm going to drive this in here at the bottom. Good. Now I'm going to attach this header in with a couple of screws. Could use nails. Oops, thought something was coming down there. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Now this jack stud right here is going to form the right-hand edge of our rough opening. Let me just adjust the bottom here a little bit. All right, let's check this. We want to make sure that this is vertical or plumb. Okay, we got to go in just a little bit more at the top here. 1/4 of an inch or so. Okay. Check it again. Okay, good. Now, we're going to attach this top and bottom with some screws and use them like I would a toenail, coming in here at an angle and going right into the bottom of that header. Stay tuned as I finish installing the mirrored closet doors, and later in the show, the easy way to remove stubborn wallpaper.
Home and Garden Television is proud to bring you a true American masterpiece, This Old House Classics, tonight at 7 Eastern on HGTV, Home and Garden Television.
Have a question about caring for your exterior wood? Cuprinol has the answer. For example, how should you prepare your deck before staining or sealing? Unless your deck is new, you need to clean the surface. First, remove all loose material. Then apply a deck cleaner like Cuprinol Revive Liquid Deck Wash to the entire surface. Rinse, let it dry. Now you're ready to stain or seal. For more information on Cuprinol heavy-duty wood care products, call 1-800-424-5837 because Cuprinol has the answer.
Here's a quick look behind the scenes of HGTV's new fast-action, fast-paced show, The Fix.
We are rolling, and action!
Remember that project that you did that you thought was going to be so tough?
Well, it turned out to be very easy.
And how good you felt?
You definitely have the power to do this.
Looks fantastic. Yes!
We're dealing with a lot of power here.
The ideas.
The solutions.
The tools.
The Fix.
Begins this Saturday at 9 Eastern on HGTV weekend mornings.
Well, as you can see, we finished our framing. Now it's time to start putting up the sheetrock. And for that, we'll need a utility knife like this one and a T-square. Using the T-square to measure, mark the face of the sheetrock at several points using your utility knife. Then, using the T-square as a straight edge, align it with the marks that you've just made and score the paper on the face or front of the sheetrock. Next, lay the front of the sheetrock on the floor and break the board along the score line. Then, make a second cut completely through the paper on the back side. All right, now with this piece cut to size, we're going to attach it to our new framing here. I want you to know something right here. See, I cut this to length so that it would fall halfway on this stud right here. That means that I can screw this piece into a stud, and then the next piece will also have a surface that, to which it can be attached, screwed or nailed. Now I'm going to be using, in this case, an 1 5/8" sheetrock screw. Going to hold everything together here for a second. Got my drill, got a magnetic bit holder in here, and I put a little mark up here in the ceiling. That's where the stud is right here. And we'll go ahead and drive this in. And I want to have that head just slightly below the paper right here. It's just barely dimpled, but not so deep that it breaks the paper. It's time to put the finishing touches on our sheetrock, and that means three things. First of all, we want to cover over these screw heads here. This means putting on a little bit of compound and scraping off the excess. What'll happen is this will dry a little bit and it'll sink, so tomorrow we'll come back, put a little bit more on. If you build it up gradually like that, there's no reason to do any sanding. Now, the other thing that we'll want to take care of are these joints right here where two pieces of sheetrock come together. We'll start by putting down what I call a bedding coat. Put this aside, and then we'll take a piece of paper tape and just lay this right over the joint. This spans the joint itself and prevents this from cracking. Okay, and then we'll take our knife. I don't need that. And we're just going to press this paper into the joint compound just like that. There we go. And we can tear off the excess. The third thing we'll want to do is tape the angles where the wall meets the ceiling or where the wall meets the existing wall over here. I put a bedding coat down both on the ceiling and on the wall, and I folded my paper in half to form a 90-degree angle, just like that. And again, we're going to press this into the bedding coat so that the corner on the paper is right up there into the corner on the wall. I'm going to push it in with our hands, like that. Okay. Now that's far enough in this position, and then again we'll come back with the putty knife and press this paper once again into that bedding coat, first on the wall, and take off some of the excess right here, and then on the ceiling. Now, of course, all taping requires usually 2 or sometimes 3 applications. And what we'll have to do is let this dry until tomorrow, and we'll come back, sand off any high spots, put a second coat on with a wider knife so that we're tapering this joint back further and further each time, and then probably a third coat the following day just to fill in the low spots. Well, it's been a couple of days since I was here. Todd's gone ahead and finished putting up the sheetrock, done the taping, and put some paint on here. It looks great, doesn't it? Right now, we're going to deal with this floor down here. Now, this is where the old wall was. So we've gone out and gotten some 5/16-inch thick oak flooring, and we're going to start now to make a repair right here. It's time to start trimming out our rough opening here, and we're going to begin by putting this top jamb up. Now, there's a line I've drawn right here. This is at 80 1/2 inches. That's the height of our finished opening to receive our new door. Let's put the jamb up here, Todd, if you don't mind. Okay, see, we're a little about 3/8 of an inch high right now. So, and I made this large intentionally, so we've got a way to adjust this final opening. I'm going to drop a couple of shims in here. Turn it around. There we go. And then we're going to push these in until we get this down to that 80 1/2 inch opening height. All right, now I'll drive a couple of finish nails in here to secure this in. This is our side jamb here. It's been primed. And normally, I would have made this opening a little bit wider than I wanted to so that I could have put some shims behind this. But as it turns out, I was a little bit tight, so I don't really have room for shims, although I think this stud is pretty much plumb, and it is, so I kind of lucked out here, and I'm going to nail this right on the face of it. Now that our jambs are all in place, we can trim off these shims with a utility knife. Usually a couple of passes like this is enough to score it. Then it'll break right along the edge of the jamb. This is the casing that we're going to put around our opening now to cover up this joint between the jamb and the edge of the sheetrock, of course, also to conceal these shims. Now, I've cut miters on both ends of this, you can see right here, and we're going to set this back from the edge of the jamb about 1/4 of an inch. Now, we're going to nail this in place using some 5-penny finish nails. Now, let's put this one up here. On the side jambs, I'm going to mark the miters first, and then we'll cut these. Now, you could use a miter box for this. I just happen to like a small Japanese saw. Now, to cut the other end of this, we're going to put the end of our tape measure right on the tip of that miter, and we'll measure down here. I need 82 3/8. Make our mark. This is going to be a 90-degree straight cut here. Okay. Take our square, draw a straight line. Again, you could be using a miter box for this if you prefer. And then cut this off. There As you can see, we've finished installing our side casings here. Now it's time to actually put in the hardware for the sliding doors themselves. This is the upper track. It's sort of a double deep channel here. Todd, if you'll just take this up, move it to the outside of the opening. Let's come in together because this is pretty precisely cut. Now, I've drawn a line right here, so we want to line the front edge of this channel with that. There we go. And now this is held in place with some screws. There's one pre-drilled hole right here. Let's go ahead and attach this. This is the bottom door track here. It's actually this track that the door's weight rests on. The wheels that run in these grooves right here. Again, we're going to center this inside the jamb, and it also is held in place. Todd, slide it to me just a little bit. There you go, okay. It also is held in place with some screws. Here's the first of our 3 new doors. Now, these couldn't be easier to install. Actually, all we have to do, let me get this inside the closet here. Okay, actually, we'll do it this way. And we're going to put the top of the door up at this upper channel, like so. And then we're going to set the bottom of the door right on that track. There are a couple of small nylon wheels under there. How to get them aligned. And these just roll back and forth on that track, and they're supported up here by the steep channel. Well, there we go, my friend. This looks very nice, and these move beautifully. Yeah, they really do. You like it?
It's great.
And as you know, when you add mirrors to the end of a room like this much mirror, well, it really makes the room look a lot larger. And you'll have a lot better access than you did before. A couple of things you need to paint out the trim up here, spackle the nail holes, and then finish the floor down here, the new floor that we put in. Okay? Yeah. So listen, thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, Ron. I appreciate it.
Next, learn the easy way to remove wallpaper.
Imagine meeting your favorite Nickelodeon characters. Well, now's your chance. Because Nickelodeon stars are hitting the road headed to your hometown.
Hey, Arnold!
Kids are hugging Chucky, high-fiving Rocco, and taking pictures with Allegra. Take a look at what's developing in your town.
Come and see Hey Arnold and Allegra at the Baby, Toddler, and Toy Fair at the IX Center, October 9th, 10th, and 11th.
Whoopi Goldberg is inside the actor's studio.
Betty Davis was my queen. This woman could do anything.
Unscripted and unrehearsed.
She wasn't considered attractive, which I really liked. Because it meant, well, if she can do it, you know, why not me? Because I always thought I was cute.
Only on Bravo's Inside the Actor's Studio, hosted by James Lipton. Sunday, October 18th, 8 p.m. Eastern, only on Bravo.
This is the Power Steamer Deep Cleaner from Bissell, and this is some very dirty carpet. Fortunately, the Power Steamer has smart mix to control the cleaning solution going in and an exclusive power brush to lift grimy particles out. So it not only gets the dirt out of your carpet, the Bissell Power Steamer gets the really deep down dirt. Life's messy. Clean it up. Now, this is very important.
Excuse me, the pantyhose aisle?
Hey, Blue Boy, got light beer?
Don't you have any more cat food?
You got that?
Why put up with this when there's your neighborhood medicine shop pharmacy? We sell only healthcare products and focus on giving you the personal care and convenience you deserve. The Medicine Shop Pharmacy, the pharmacy that's all about your health. Come to the Medicine Shop Pharmacy for an affordable flu and pneumonia shot. For the nearest participating location, dates, and times, call 1-800-677-0770.
Honey, is there any of that chicken cacciatore left?
Look in the freezer.
Hefty One Zip with the hefty slider that clicks closed for freshness. Hefty One Zip, the hefty duty food bag. Hefty One Zip with the hefty slider that clicks closed for freshness.
Little guy's got spunk.
Hefty One Zip, the hefty duty food bag.
The world is full of colors. Perhaps you'd like some help putting them together. Olympic paints and brochures with color combinations. Now at Lowe's. The world is full of colors. Perhaps you'd like some help putting them together. Olympic paints and brochures with color combinations. Now at Lowe's.
There are several ways to remove old wallpaper, but I think the most effective is one that uses an enzyme wallpaper stripper. It actually dissolves the paste on the back side of the paper. The problem is, though, you've got to get that stripper through the paper and in contact with the paste so that it can do its work. So for that, you'll need one of these tools right here. It's called a wallpaper perforator. This one is actually called a Paper Tiger, made by Zinsser. And the way this works is there are two small wheels right here, and these punch a series of small holes, thousands of them, in the surface of the paper. Now to use this, you simply place it on the paper. You can either go in a rotary motion like this, or you can go back and forth. Doesn't really matter, but the point is you want to put one of these small perforations about every square inch on the surface of the paper. Don't press too hard on this. You don't want to actually put holes in the sheetrock or plaster behind the paper. Just use very light pressure and let those sharp wheels do the work. This is the enzyme-based wallpaper stripper concentrate. Now this needs to be dissolved in about 2 gallons of hot water. You can put this on with a sponge, but a garden sprayer is much, much faster. If you do bring a garden sprayer in from the inside, though, make sure that you rinse it out and clean it thoroughly to remove any pesticides or garden chemicals. Okay, so that's 1 bottle of this to about 2 gallons of hot water. There we go. Now, just put the top on the sprayer, screw it in place, and we'll pressurize this. While most of what we spray on the wall here will actually soak into the wallpaper, some of it may run down the surface and onto the floor. So you might want to take some old towels like this, kind of roll them up, and place them against the wall at the bottom to catch anything that runs down. This would be especially true if you have carpet floors or hardwood. Okay, our tank is pressurized. We're ready to start spraying here. We want to begin up at the top. We want to wet this thoroughly, just going back and forth like this. Keep spraying until it looks nice and damp, but not so much that it's pouring off the wall. We'll work our way all the way down, just like this. Now it takes about 30 or 40 minutes for this enzyme to work. That is, to soften the paste, to dissolve the paste. And you'll probably want to reapply this 2 or 3 more times during that period. But don't rush it. Let the chemicals do the work, because you shouldn't have to do a lot of scraping when this process is finished here. It's been about 45 minutes. I re-wet this about 4 times. I've kept it nice and moist. Now, if this stuff is working right, this should just literally almost fall off. There we go. See that? Now, this paper is quite thin. If you're working with vinyl papers, and by the way, this technique will work on vinyl papers, you can often just grab this and it'll peel right off, just like a strippable or peel-away paper. This is kind of going to fall apart on us, but you can see how simple and easily, there we go, here's a nice piece here, see that? See how easy that comes off? And sometimes, let's look at the back here. You can kind of see the holes. I don't know if you can see them or not, but there are holes all over here. You see how uniformly wet the back of this paper is? This enzyme actually works like the enzymes in laundry detergents. They actually eat the paste. They break it down chemically so that it loses its ability to bond. And as you can see, once you've got it on here, here's another nice big piece here. Look at this. Just take it and pull it off just that easily. Once the wallpaper is down, take some more enzyme solution in a sponge and wash any residual paste off the wall. This method is so easy to use that you can take the wallpaper off a kitchen or even a small bedroom in just an afternoon. In addition to cutting wood to size accurately, the table saw is also used for cutting joinery, such as this rabbet joint right here, often referred to as a one-sided groove. Its most common use is for joining 2 pieces of material together. Now, to make this cut accurately and safely, you will have to make a modification to the fence on your table saw. Now, whenever possible, you always want to make your cuts with the saw guard in place. But this is one of those times when we won't be able to use the guard because it's going to be in the way. So we're going to have to take it off. To support our work while we're cutting these joints, I'm going to make our fence actually higher by attaching this board with a couple of screws. Now, the reason we've made our fence higher is because the first cut is going to be made with the board held on edge, and this gives us a lot more support and a lot more accuracy. Now, the second cut is made with the board lying flat on the saw table. Okay, and there's our rabbet. Now, by sliding the fence back and forth and by raising and lowering the blade, we can make this rabbet any size we want it. Well, you may have been thinking about trading your old drill in for one of those newer models that have the clutches that allow you to drive screws to precisely the right depth. Well, there is an alternative that might make it possible to keep that old favorite for a little while longer. This is a tool right here called a Depth Driver 2. It's made by Wolfcraft, and what it does is it slips into your standard 1/4-inch chuck or 3/8-inch chuck, and it allows you to drive screws to whichever depth you'd like. Now, right here in the end, you'll notice that there are 4 ball bearings in here. These actually grip the shaft of the screw, holding it in position. Now, back on this side, there's a depth adjuster right here. You pull this ring out and rotate it like so, and you can select any one of 8 different depths. And of course, you use it just like you would any other driver. Now, I've tried this out over here. I actually selected 4 of the 8 depth settings. This is number 1. You can see that's about a 1/16 of an inch above the surface. This is number 8, about a 1/16 of an inch below. So you've got a variance of about 1/8 of an inch. So if you'd like the convenience of an automatic depth driver, especially for things like sheetrock, but you want to hang on to that old favorite for a while longer, well, this tool right here might be worth considering.
I am a woman of New York.
I am a woman of London.
I am a woman of Paris.
I am a woman of Johannesburg.
We are all women of Earth, joined together forever.
Women of Earth, the essence of you. The very essence of us all.
Is someone you love getting cold feet? Don't blame Cupid, blame your floors. If your floor is over an unheated garage or crawl space, you're losing heat. Insulating your floor can help keep you comfortable and save you money all winter long. Call 1-800-GET-PINK and we'll tell you how to get started. And you can start generating a little heat of your own. Making your home energy efficient was brought to you by Owens Corning.
Okay, so you want to put in new blinds, spruce the place up, right? And you want the good stuff at the best price. Name brands like Hunter Douglas, Graber, Levolor. One call to National Blind takes care of everything. It's easy. They'll send you a blind kit with dozens of styles and colors free. And you'll pay less, a lot less, not 50 or 60, but as much as 82% off. So call for your free blind kit with measuring guide. Plus, if you call now, you'll get free UPS shipping when placing your first order. Call 1-800-698-7200 today.
Attention used car buyers. Bob Morris's Big Lot in North Ridgeville is having a $99 sale starting right now. Regardless of the type of car you want, $99 down delivers. That's right, $99 down whether you want a Ford, Chrysler, or GM product, and you can drive away today. Quality cars from $49.95 through current models with only a few thousand miles, all for only $99 down. Come and see why every day more and more people buy a used car from Bob Morris, Center Ridge at the Turnpike Overpass.
In North Ridgeville.
3 things I know about the helmet camp. Number 1, it was gimmicky. Number 2, it never worked. And number 3, you're an idiot.
ESPN Sunday Night Football, 17 weeks. You know, I don't appreciate being called an idiot. Just because you fear technology, that's not my fault. I've been called a lot of things at this table, but an idiot will not be one of them. ESPN Sunday Night Football. Coverage begins at 8:15.
The NFL on ESPN is brought to you in part by your Northeast Ohio Ford dealers.
You know, one of the problems in making an overhead measurement with a tape measure like this is, well, the tape measure just isn't very stiff and it tends to sag and droop. Well, I've got a solution for you. And it's in the form of an old carpenter's tool called a folding tape measure. It's rigid, it's wooden, and because it doesn't sag or bend, it gives you an accurate measurement every time. Well, thanks for watching. Now it's your turn to get out there, roll up your sleeves, and tackle some of those jobs that you may have been putting off. And please join me next time. I'll have more tips and suggestions to make your next home improvement job just a little bit easier. See you then.
Stop by This Old House Classics for a progress check. Plus, we'll take a tour of a window factory as our kitchen remodeling project continues tonight at 7 Eastern here on HGTV.